This is Autoline Daily, the show dedicated to enthusiasts of the global automotive industry. Happy St. Patrick's Day to everyone out there, and it looks like the folks at Foxconn might be doing a little bit of extra celebrating. The chairman of the Taiwan-based manufacturer said it could sign deals with 2 Japanese automakers within the next 2 months to design and build electric vehicles. While the automakers weren't revealed, Foxconn showed interest in buying a stake in Nissan, as well as working jointly with Honda and Mitsubishi. It seemed like talks with Nissan had stalled out with the failed Honda-Nissan merger. However, with a brand new CEO in charge of Nissan, there's a lot of speculation it's one of the 2 Japanese automakers that Foxconn will work with. Now, in terms of the vehicles it wants to launch, Foxconn previously proposed a full lineup, including a hatchback, SUVs, pickup truck, and van. It's unknown if these are the models it wants to build with the Japanese automakers, but they could be on sale before the end of the year. Foxconn says it wants to start production of one of the SUVs in North America in the 4th quarter. While it didn't say where, it does have that big factory in Ohio where it used to make the Lordstown electric pickup. CATL saw its profits grow at their slowest rate in 6 years, but the world's largest EV battery maker could combat that with continued expansion. It's working on 4 new plants in China, as well as manufacturing in Germany, Hungary, Spain, and Indonesia. It also revealed that it's developing a 2nd-generation sodium-ion battery, which don't have a ton of energy density, but do offer fast charging, good extreme weather performance, long life, and they use fewer critical minerals. And because of that last point, CATL says once large-scale adoption is achieved, sodium-ion batteries will have a cost advantage even over LFP. However, it still expects LFP and NMC batteries to make up 60 to 70% of its shipments this year. President Trump is promising to impose 25% tariffs on imported vehicles and components from Mexico and Canada on April 2nd. So Ford is stockpiling as many parts as it can. Automotive News reports that Ford sent a memo to suppliers telling them it's strategically stockpiling components except for any parts that are scheduled for engineering changes. And no doubt, more automakers are doing the same thing. We think building up inventory ahead of the tariffs is a wise move, but it will only put off the pain for a short time, maybe a number of weeks at best. Automakers and suppliers in the U.S. are trying to figure out how to absorb the cost of the tariffs, but many suppliers are not in a financial position to do so. So that means the burden will largely fall on the car companies, who typically pass most of those costs onto their customers in the form of higher prices.
There's nothing wrong with heavy metal.
Hey, lighten up.
But with world-class composite material, Teijin Automotive Technologies makes vehicles lighter, safer, and more eco-friendly.
One of the ways that California incentivized sales of hybrids and EVs was providing them access to high-occupancy vehicle lanes on highways, even if there was only one person in the car. Those HOV lanes are generally limited to vehicles with at least 2 occupants, and access to them is highly coveted on California's famously congested freeways because with less cars, those lanes typically move faster. Even the used car market can give you an idea of just how highly valued the HOV stickers are. Used cars with the sticker have sold for as much as $5,000 more than those without it. But like the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. The HOV sticker for hybrids was phased out years ago, and it expires for EVs in September. This is actually a federal program and not a California program, so the state could ask for an extension. But the political climate in the Trump administration has been raining on EVs, and California could lose what has been an effective incentive to get people to buy electric vehicles. Former Waymo CEO John Krafcik had some harsh word for Tesla's Robotaxi. In an interview with Germany's Manager magazine, he said a quote-unquote serious Robotaxi would place sensors in optimal locations, like on the roof, as well as the sides and corners of the vehicle. He also said the sensors should have cleaning and drying functions. CraftCheck criticized the design of Tesla's Robotaxi as well, saying its, quote, low-slung coupe body design will make it hard for people to get in and out, and not everyone will be able to use them comfortably. There seems to be a growing number of people willing to criticize Elon Musk and Tesla, so we think the company needs to be careful because the same people unwilling to purchase a Tesla probably don't want to use its Robotaxi service either. London says its fee on vehicles that pollute too much is paying off. In 2019, the city established the London Ultra Low Emission Zone, which charges vehicles that don't meet emission standards about $16 to drive in the area. The zone has since expanded twice and now covers about 9 million people. And the city just released a report that nitrogen oxides, which form smog, and PM 2.5, which are tiny particles that can irritate the lungs, are down by almost a third compared to before the low emission zones were put in place. BMW announced that it signed a deal with Chinese tech giant Huawei to integrate its Harmony operating system into its vehicles in China starting next year. This will allow owners to connect their vehicle to devices in their home as well, and the two companies will also develop apps and functions based on Huawei's technology. This is somewhat of a big deal for Huawei because several countries, including the US, UK, Canada, and Germany, have banned or restricted Huawei from their 5G networks. So, it's become something of a point of pride for consumers in China to buy and support Huawei products. We've got the results of last Friday's poll. We wanted to know what kind of feedback you'd give to automakers who are trying to figure out whether they should use touchscreens or buttons and knobs, or a combination of the two. 20% of you, or 1 out of 5, said you really don't like screens at all. Only 13% said you prefer to use screens. 63% said you wanted a combination of the two, and 4% of you chose none of the above and posted your feedback in the comments section. Grant Lawson, 5237, said, as an Uber Eats driver, I absolutely prefer physical interactions. You can place your finger on a button without pressing it. It's a very different story when using a screen on a bumpy road. Crimson Blue had a really good suggestion. They should blindfold people to test functions of cars. They should be able to engage in functions of the car and provide feedback. Brad SB1DK is for screens, but not just by themselves. He said, quote, screen with voice control. Autonomous vehicles are the future. Operation controls will largely be reduced to climate and entertainment. Over 1,900 of you participated in the poll and posted over 200 comments on our website and YouTube channel. And I'd suggest to any product planning people who are in the audience, take a look at what got posted, because there's some pretty good feedback there. But that's a wrap for today's show. Thanks for tuning in.
Autoline Daily is brought to you by Intrepid Control Systems. Over-the-air engineering boost your game. And by Teijin Automotive Technologies, the formula for better mobility.
Developing today's vehicles. Issues can happen in an instant. When's the best time to solve a problem? The minute you know you have one. Meet Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your secure, off-the-shelf solution empowering real-time collaboration for quick resolution. With Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your team can prevent issues before they can escalate. Driver communication data and remote diagnostics to analyze and resolve your problems using OTA, allowing your executives oversight throughout the process. Wireless NeoVi Cloud, your vehicle update solution in production and on the road. Intrepid Control Systems, driven by your data.